Hi, this is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action. This is Mark Waid, writer of Superman Birthright, and you're listening to The
Krypton Report, the all things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Welcome to the Krypton Report. I have a special guest on today's episode. You know me, I like to talk and run my mouth. I have some cosplayers here with me, and I will let them do a little introducing, and we're going to get into talking about their story, how they came to be, and what characters they like. But they call themselves the Phoenix Sisters. Welcome, Kelly and Craylee, correct?
Yeah. You said my name right and everything. You must have done some research.
Actually, you just said it. Okay, my wife, her name is Junia, and her sister is Taria. They look interesting. Thank you. They look interesting when you look at them. Okay, you're like, okay. And I can understand mispronouncing it, but if you say your name to me, I have ears. You know, it's like, if you say your name, do I lack the skills to say it back to you? Because that's how I feel happens to my wife constantly.
Yep.
She will say Junia, and they'll be like, Junia? And I'm like, how do people not just respond with the same word? Like,
because they're not listening.
So you said your name. I was like, good. You know, I can say it. So, but welcome. I'm happy to have this conversation. Cosplay is something I think is awesome. I think it's exploded so much that before, you know, like you would just hear like, I'm going to dress up for a movie premiere or for the convention. But then all of a sudden you actually started to hear the term emerge. And I actually am working on, I've tried sewing and making stuff for the kids, and I've, you know, so. But for me, I'm actually wanting to get a good Superman costume, cosplay outfit. In my picture, you can see I recolored it just for fun because I was doing an experiment. But my wife got me the red jacket from Smallville.
I was noticing that in your picture. It looks good.
So, and I wear that a lot. And that's like my quick cosplay. And then in the comics where they did that at the end of the New 52, where they did that quick run where Superman just wore a t-shirt and jeans, I was like, yes, I'm cosplaying Superman every day I go to work. But
yeah, that was like a gift for fans. Like, here you go. Now you're all Superman.
Exactly.
Is very fitting.
My now husband, but at the time he was just my boyfriend. I'm so lucky that one of my main cosplays when I'm not being a Phoenix sister is Wonder Girl, because I was like, hey, you want to be Superboy so we can make out in some photos? And he's like, well, I'd love to make out, but what do I have to wear? And I was like, okay, so I'm going to get you a black shirt with a red Superman X on it, and everything else is just how you dress every day, because he wears jeans and combat boots every day. It's all right.
It's the greatest, you know, like cosplay there is. Superboy. And then if you want to mix it up and put on like some blue cargo pants, you know, like Young Justice Superboy / Titan Superboy, you can do that. That's what I did for Solo. And then you have T-shirt Superman from Action Comics in the New 52, and then later on, it's the best cosplays there is. Best.
So easy.
You're like, I'm just wearing jeans and a shirt. Like there's a picture I'll share with you girls later of Solomon at what do you call it? At Thanksgiving, and he wore his Superboy shirt underneath like a flannel, and like he's in jeans and everything. I was like, yeah, he's cosplaying and don't even know it.
I love that.
That's kind of how I dress my children. Like, I'll be like, all right, Sayla, wear this Supergirl shirt and this over it. Okay, now you're just ready to go. Let's go. So first of all, how did you two meet? How did this enterprise that you've created together come to be?
We met in Metropolis, actually.
That's what I heard. That's why it's exciting. I wanted you to say it, not me. So,
yeah. Craylee, do you want to tell the story?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna like how I open it, so basically it all starts with Kelly's afraid to go over bridges at that point where you can't see the other side of the bridge anymore. So we were all in a van with a mutual friend at the Superman celebration in Metropolis to go to Walmart across the Ohio River.
This is how we bonded. This is not how we met. This is how we bonded.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a lot more interesting than we shook hands in a hotel lobby, though.
Agreed. Go on with the story.
So, first of all, I've already made her laugh once because I have to sit in the floor of the van, and I was trying to get like my hips in between two bucket seats just right, and I called it butt Tetris. And so I'm hilarious when I'm not trying to be. I just sometimes say things and they're funny.
That's how my wife is. Like when she tries to be funny, sometimes she's like, people don't think I'm funny. But then when she's just like being her, I'm like, you're really funny.
So I had already made her laugh once, and I'm like, she laughed at the butt Tetris thing. So I think I know what kinds of things are appropriate to say to this person that I don't know very well yet.
I love you for this.
So we're about to go over this bridge, and she mentions being nervous. And I was just like, I have the perfect thing for this. And I'm like, so did you see the Teen Titans Judas Contract animated film? The recent one I'm talking about? There was something really weird in it. And she was like, no, I didn't see it. And so I start going on and on about how they made Tara be like this sexual aggressor to Slade Wilson. And he's like playing it off like, oh yeah, maybe someday, cute little girl who I'm manipulating. And I'm like telling her all these like weird details about this very specific part of the movie that really wasn't the whole plot, you know. It was
she was like, really, Tara, huh? Go on.
Right, you know, and she's just like, oh, that's so gross, you know, and she wants to know more details about like how much it affected the film because she's trying to decide if she wants to watch this movie or not. And then we get to Walmart and I'm like, and you're not thinking about that bridge anymore, are you?
And I love you for this.
She was like, mic drop. What just happened?
And this was the year before we did the Phoenix pictures, right, Curly?
Yeah, that was the year before. So, but like that gave us a basis to start talking on the internet. And if you want to talk about the thing we started noticing over the internet that made us be like, okay, we have to cosplay actively together. Yeah, I will cede the floor.
Okay, so then, well, we noticed this after we made our plans. So for the next year in Metropolis, I was like, okay, I finally got one of my dream costumes, which was a green Phoenix, so Jean Grey from X-Men costume. And I was like, ooh, Crayley has a red Dark Phoenix costume. And I was like, well, we bonded a little bit, and I'm not shy, as anyone who's known me for 2 minutes will notice. I was like, I'll ask her to do a photo shoot. Also, I like to ask people to do photo shoot.
Sounds fun.
Thank you. I hope so. So I asked her if she would do a Dark Phoenix versus, you know, normal Phoenix photo shoot. And so then we start kind of talking about this and start bonding over the fact that we both love Jean Grey and we both kind of love all the same female characters. Like we love the same male characters too, but we really have like a type of character that we love. And then as we're talking, so at the time, Crayley's living in Colorado and I'm in Wisconsin. So we're at like completely different elevations. She's like up a mountain because everyone in Colorado is up a mountain. Side note, I don't know if this is actually accurate. Feel free to, you know, clever me, internet. But, so then as we're talking, like we start talking regularly and one of us will mention, oh God, I have a migraine today. And the other one will be like, what? Me too. And we also notice that we think alike. We like the same characters. We think alike on a lot of other things. And we start noticing it's a pattern. We always have migraines on the same day. And Jean Grey
is your dark side. I see.
Exactly. You got it. Jean Grey's powers kind of started with her having migraines. And then her psychic powers exploded. So finally one of us was like, so we're probably psychically linked. Because that's
awesome.
that's the only explanation for these migraines. And there are also things where like one of us would think something and the other one would say it out loud. That still happens, years later.
It was destiny.
What was the cosplay that we never spoke out loud to each other that we were gonna do, and then when we made our packing lists, we both packed characters. Was that? Do you remember?
I don't even remember, but I think that's happened multiple times.
Yeah, that probably is why I can't remember which characters, because I think it's happened more than once, where we just assumed we were doing a photo shoot because we each know that one of us has one character and the other one has the other from our team, like Teen Titans or something.
Nice.
Yep.
So,
and then we'll mention our packing list and be like, oh, so did we actually talk about doing a Teen Titans shoot, or?
It just happened.
Oh, yeah.
So, with your costumes, real quick, do you make them yourselves or do you buy them from like a website or both, or how do you acquire your suits?
We either make them or we sort of flip them, where you buy pieces and then alter for the most part. Mm-hmm. There have been, I think I have 2 that I bought all the pieces for individually online, and the rest of them, they were either made or thrifted.
Yes.
And then altered.
Any certain places you guys shop for your costumes?
Goodwill.
Nice.
Going to Goodwill is really fun, and just trying to find stuff that you can use as a base to alter. Because
I never have that kind of luck.
That's one of Karen's superpowers, though. I have to go to Goodwill when I go across state lines to go visit her, because she has the Goodwill magic.
I do. Also, the Goodwills within like half an hour from me are really good. I don't know why. Like every time I go to them, they are magic. They're just,
that's like
whenever
weird.
I need something, I can zero in on which Goodwill, because there's a lot within half an hour radius, and I can zero in and I'm like, this is the one that's going to have what we need. And it always does.
The one that's like nearest to me sucks. They're always out of everything. But like the one that's like near my mother-in-law, you can always find stuff. And usually it's like for my wife or my kids. I never find anything for me, but then my wife finds cool stuff for me. I'm like, it's just, she has the gift. So.
It is a wonderful gift. I hope I never lose it. I love this gift.
I always like, hearing, because like I've talked to people who's like, oh, I just buy them off the internet. And I'm like, that's cool. But it's really neat when people actually like work to make it. Like I think there's almost like you have more of a bond with your costume.
Very true. Sometimes it's a love-hate relationship, but yes.
Well, when you literally bleed for the costume, like my Dark Phoenix suits, both of them that I've had, they are, even the one that got made out of spandex from scratch, I did not do all the sewing on that. I'm not that skilled. My friend Ruby helped me. But stretching the yellow fabric over the red for my legs, because you never think about how curved a leg is. There's so much more surface area on a leg than you would ever imagine until you start sewing. And both times, the first time we're cutting a yellow bodysuit apart and sewing it onto a red pre-made bodysuit. And the only way we could get the fabric to match up was for me to wear the red bodysuit while the yellow leg pieces got sewn on over me. And then we tried to not do that with the one that we were making out of whole cloth, like literally. And again, we got all the pieces stretched out, and the first time, I guess I don't know, maybe everything above my knees is a different size compared to the pattern we were using than everything below my knees, or what. But we couldn't get the yellow pieces right, so we just made me whole red legs and sewed yellow legs over them while I was wearing it again. So, like, imagine not being able to see where the needle goes through because there's a leg there.
That sounds fun.
So, yeah, I have bled inside both of those costumes.
But you and Ruby bonded over that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a good friend. It's a good friend.
A friend who's willing to stab you over and over again so that you can get the perfect look you want.
Ruby and her husband Mark are the mutual friends that I met Crayley through.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, that is, I don't know. It's like if you're going to meet somebody and, you know, like, hopefully, you know, it's, you know, through a mutual friend, then it makes it a little bit more easy and it helps build a little bit more of a trust, you know, like you trust that friend. That's cool. I mean, I like the stories of, yeah, this, I had to do this to get this to fit, or this, you know, just, I tried sewing some stuff and it was a disaster. And, that's when I gave up on myself and, just make things for my children. So of course that's where the name of the Phoenix Sisters, you know, came from. And maybe you should be called the Phoenixes of Two Earths, or, you know, the dark side of each other, or one person, two bodies.
One person, two bodies.
Basically.
So how often do you do like cosplay together, being that if people haven't picked up, your sisters by your bond, not by blood?
Not by blood.
And you live in different locations. So how often do you get to do things together besides your migraine sharing and your same thoughts?
It gets more and more every year. Like, we just can't stay away from each other. Like, this year, I would specifically quarantine for 2 weeks to a month, not go to a store, not go anywhere, to make sure it was safe for me to go visit. And we're close with each other's families, so I would go up there to see the kids too. But
yeah, she's Aunt Crayley. Like, my daughter asks for her all year round. Like, she'll just she is certain, because my daughter misses people a lot this year, so she'll ask for Crayley to visit all the time.
So I think the first year we were doing this, we saw each other 3 times. And now we probably see each other about 6 times a year.
Crazy.
I understand that. I totally understand that. Like, I was, before the world went to crazy, you know, I was visiting, you know, friends, podcasting friends, you know, people like that you know and like to talk to and hang out with. And then now you're just afraid to leave your basement.
It sucks. And now Crayley is not in Colorado. She's in Indiana, so she's a little bit closer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not making a 16-hour drive every other month. I love Kelly, but I don't have that kind of time or money.
That's cool. Indiana, no, that's just right next door, so that's not bad.
Oh, are you in Ohio or Illinois?
I'm in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. Do you not realize what Ohio is good for? Like, the one thing that it's worth claiming, the only reason I have some sort of love for this state.
What is it? I want to hear Ohio's one redeeming quality.
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were from Ohio and created Superman in Cleveland.
Oh, I knew that, actually. Of course, duh.
That's the only reason I'm like, I hate this state. Other than that, I'm like, I just dislike this state.
Right. Yeah. No, and I'm teasing. Ohio and Indiana are so similar. Like,
I don't care. Honestly, I have a whole story. I don't care. I'm just like, you know what? Me and my buddy James, who I podcast with on here, we're like, why do we still live in Ohio? Oh yeah, it's because it's where Superman was born and created. So
that is a valid reason.
That's why we're still connected to this state. You know, it just gives us some validity to our podcast.
Must be nice to have a celebrity you really relate to from your state, because like there are a lot of famous people from Indiana, like Michael Jackson, Tony Stewart, Voldemort. I mean Mike Pence.
Voldemort. I'm like, I would claim Voldemort. That's cool.
But like, I don't personally relate to any of them the way I would if, like, I don't know, Stan Lee or somebody was from Indiana.
Right. And then who's the musician again that you absolutely hate from Indiana?
Oh, John Mellencamp.
Cougar Mellencamp.
John Cougar
Mellencamp.
I mean, Ohio's had some cool musicians. I mean, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At least that's there. You know, Dave Grohl was originally from Youngstown, and then he moved. See, he got smart. He got out of here.
Right.
So, I mean, like it or not, like Chappelle lives in Youngstown or Yellow Springs, one of them. I can't keep it straight. But it's whatever. It's Ohio. You know, Bowling for Soup wrote a song about Ohio, you know. It's all good.
Wisconsin's got cheese and beer.
And that 70s show. So, I mean.
And that 70s show. I mean, we've got some, a few celebrities that we can claim, but the cheese and beer, that's our thing.
That's their thing. So right now, especially, I guess it's got to be tough. Like, do you guys ever do any events separate? Like, go out and, like, participate in, like, local events or do cosplay for any kind of charities or anything like that?
We're both pretty much trying to quarantine and be safe right now.
I mean, before this, like, nobody's doing anything.
Right now. I was like, there aren't really events going on. Not to, like, pass judgment if people are able to do things safely, but, so I'm involved with Heroes Alliance locally. So that, Heroes Alliance does charity work with, like, children's hospitals and all sorts of children-focused charities. So we'll do, like, it's called the Buddy Walk. So that's a program in schools that pairs up the special education kids with the typical education kids to try to foster friendships and more understanding. And we do, like, apraxia walks, Down syndrome walks, all sorts of things. And that's my other big passion is with cosplay, is being able to just go out and dress up in costume. And I miss that so much.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, you can go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, I was just going to actually turn the mic to you. So go ahead.
Phoenix sister connection. Like, I'm going to be so disappointed if we don't say the same thing at the same time on this podcast. Like,
right.
At some point. But yeah, I don't do anything as impressive or laudable as Kelly's work with Heroes Alliance. Hamming you up, Kelly. Just
I'm blushing.
I do, like free comic book day where we go out and dress up and they encourage kids to come in and get free, like usually more kid-friendly comic books and stuff like that. I was trying to get into events on my own when Kelly approached me and was like, I'm so shy and nervous to ask you this because I've already noticed that you're building a page and doing some branding legwork and stuff, but like, can we team up? And I was like, oh my gosh, please somebody share the work. Like,
I think that would be more fun just because, like, you can do such, things like your Phoenix, first of all.
Exactly.
And then just doing, more of like partners and, whatever, like just, it's more fun. I don't know. I am much more of like, I like to have like a sidekick or a partner, like, for anything. I hate doing crap by myself. There's a few podcast episodes where it's just me talking. You know how redundant it is? Just hear my own voice. Like, no, hey, like, you're trying to talk to people, but you're like, you're not that interesting, Tyler. You have no one to talk to. People don't care. You're not famous. So it's not like it's, hey, I just listened to this podcast where this dude talked that everybody loves. I'm like, I remember listening to a podcast back when Kevin Smith did Fat Man on Batman, the good version, and he would just read a comic book to you. Like, and you're like, but it's cool because it was Kevin Smith talking. I'm like, I'm not that. No one's going to listen to just me talk.
Collaboration sparks the creative soul. Like,
yes, it does. That was always the best part about being in a band. Like, hey, I got this riff. And they're like, oh, that sounds great, but let's add this. And, oh, I can do this. And the next thing you know, you have something awesome. You're like, yeah, I totally didn't see that coming.
What instrument did you play?
Bass.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm the bass player. And
very cool.
Everybody forgets the bass players are cool and they're in the band. If they're not the bass player and the singer, everyone just forgets they exist.
Wasn't the more popular guy from Fallout Boy? I feel like I'm a bad grown-up emo kid now for not remembering his name.
Yeah, he was like...
then there was the guy that everybody liked more than Patrick, except me. Wasn't he the bassist?
Yeah, he was. He's one of those rares where and he didn't barely sing, but like He didn't sing, but it's because he exerted the personality of being a lead man on stage compared to like Patrick was always that, like if you go back and watch it, always very reserved. Like I've seen them live twice, and he was like had his hat kind of down and was like,
yeah, he'd wear like the paperboy hat, and why can I not remember the bassist's name? He was
Wentz.
like every girl. Pete Wentz.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I remember hearing that name.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm like, I can picture his hair and his eyeliner and like the pose he was doing on every teen magazine, but I cannot remember his name.
Because he also had like the charm, and like Patrick just did not want like the spotlight until a little bit later, when he like got confidence, lost weight, and all that stuff, and then it was like he was a little bit more out there. But it's very rare does that ever happen to us bass players. I mean, my favorite movie of all time is That Thing You Do.
I love that movie.
Thank you for knowing that movie. The bass player doesn't have a name. He is the bass player. In the credits, he is listed as the bass player. I've seen them do interviews. Like they just did they did a live watch this year over like Skype or Zoom or something. And like they're introducing themselves and he's like, I'm the bass player. Like he has no name. That's how little they thought of the bass player. But I digress.
I need to rewatch that movie, especially because Liv Tyler. I love Liv Tyler. And I used to get compared to her.
Liv Tyler. Like, no joke, Kelly looks like Liv Tyler. Only
Yeah,
I think she's prettier.
We just said the same thing, Crayley.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I used to get compared to her when I was younger.
Well, that's better than being compared to Harlan Williams.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I got that, and then occasionally I had Keanu Reeves when I was younger, and I was like, okay, I'll take Keanu Reeves.
Hell yeah. That's a nice one.
It's like the one thing I regret. I told my wife when we got to meet Michael Rosenbaum, who actually did a movie he directed with Harlan Williams. I was like, I wanted to ask him, do you think I look like Harlan Williams? Since you actually know him. But like, I was too excited to like meet Rosenbaum that I totally forgot. But anyways.
I'm jealous you get to meet Rosenbaum.
Yeah, there's a picture. We have a family photo wall. I'll take a picture and send to you of all the cons we've been to and like meet people. And I'm like, yes. And for my wife was doing awesome where basically for 2 years in a row, would have been 3, COVID hadn't happened. We were meeting a Superman and getting our picture taken.
That's so cool.
In 2020, we were right as everything was shutting down, we were going to Cleveland to a con to meet Tyler Hoechlin. So that would have been our newest one. But in 19, we met Tom Welling. And then in 18, we met Dean Cain. So we were on a good trek, but I just consider 2020 doesn't count. So we technically still have.
That's what I think too.
If I can pull it off in 2021, we're good.
We were actually supposed to be cosplay guests together someplace for the first time this past year. And of course, the convention got canceled, which was the same thing, but it doesn't quite make the disappointment go away.
I miss cons, like good places, good, especially that you find those like middle cons where they're like big, but not overly big, where you can actually really get to talk to the artists and the creators and people, and those are the best.
Yes. We had, should I tell my story about John Constantine Crayley?
Absolutely should. I was going to make you. If you didn't, I'm like, okay, where's the place to insert this story?
Okay. So we went to a Wizard World that had a feel of a medium con, weirdly.
Okay.
Like, you don't expect that from a Wizard World, but for whatever reason, it was up here in Wisconsin and Madison. And so Matt Ryan, John Constantine from TV's, from...
It was NBC.
It was NBC, and then it was CW's Legends of Tomorrow. Sorry, it's been a long week.
And he's the animated voice for the DC animated films and the, what do you call it? They did the one animated film where he's Constantine into the City of Demons.
Dark, maybe?
They've done 2 now. They've done at least 2 where he's been Constantine. He's Constantine.
Yeah.
He's Constantine.
He just is. I was about to say that also, or I was going to be. So basically, real life Constantine was at this convention.
Yep. So most of the guests did the normal guest thing where they sat at their tables with security, but he decided to just walk the con floor. And so we're just walking, we're about to leave, and all of a sudden I turn around and Matt Ryan is right there.
Nice.
Right. And he was just chatting people up. Like it wasn't just him walking to someplace. Like, he made an actual choice to walk the con floor and talk to fans. He seems very, very nice, very personable. And so me, again, I'm not shy. I approached him and started talking to him. Or I waited my turn. I didn't butt in, but I just started talking to him. And so we had a conversation, and I was dressed as Black Canary, and then I was like, man, I should have worn my Zatanna costume. And he's like, you should have. And he and I started talking about, and he mentioned that if his show had gone to a season 2, he was pushing them to, he really wanted to have Zatanna in the show.
Dang it. Good. Right? That is what I've been saying forever. She is the easiest character to write in. And I'm like, why is she not there?
No kidding.
I've said that Legends should have ditched the time travel, and when he joined, should have done a whole season of Justice League Dark and had Zatanna.
That would have been so cool.
She is not that difficult to write into the show. It's basically was writing itself, and they, okay, I'm off my tangent. She's one of my favorite characters, but
I love mine too. But that was a really, really cool behind the scenes thing for him to share with me. And then I had to make it awkward.
I'm gonna share that with my friends later, because I got to meet Matt Ryan. Solomon and I did at a con, and it was at Wizard. It might have been the same year. We went on a Sunday because that was the only day we could go, and he was laid back at his booth, and it was very he was drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade, just chilling at his booth. And it had that
Constantine thing ever.
It had that vibe, like you said, of it felt smaller, on a Sunday, because we had been to a Wizard on a Saturday, and we've been to one now on a Sunday. And we met him, and it was cool. And my wife was like, that's sweet. But then when she found out he voiced Edward Kenway on Assassin's Creed Black Flag, she got even more excited. Then she's like, well, I got to go meet him now.
Aw. He was
I have to add in, before Kelly tells you how she made it awkward, I was not there until a pivotal moment. I walked up onto this happening.
All right. Take us to the awkward.
Take it away.
Take us there.
Okay. So, a month prior to this, I had done Zatanna boudoir photos.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have any pictures. So, of course, I see Matt Ryan. We're talking about Zatanna. I wanted to show him pictures of a Zatanna costume that I had. The only pictures I had on my phone were my boudoir Zatanna photos. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, oh, I should have worn my Zatanna costume, not my boudoir costume, obviously.
No, I feel you. I got an idea where this is going.
But yeah, you can guess the destination. So I'm like, and I just did a boudoir shoot. And I'm like, would you like to see? Now, he said yes. I don't think he knew what boudoir meant.
I'm going to say he did. So he was like, yes.
I hope he did. I hope he knew what he was consenting to.
I'm sure. I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm pretty sure that he's probably had weird things happen.
Probably.
This out there.
Probably. And I mean, when we do our Phoenix Sisters, so our stuff like if we do boudoir, it's PG-13. It's not that bad. But so I show him a couple pictures, and on the second picture, I did not hear this comment. Crayley walks up and hears this comment. He goes, oh, these are too hot for my eyes.
Nice.
And she's still just scrolling. She's so excited. She's just like, and the next one, and the next one. And so I woke up and I'm like my brain had to replay for a second because I like notice visual stuff before I can comprehend audio stuff. And so I'm like, why is Constantine blushing while talking to Kelly? And my brain backs up a second. I hear, oh, these are too hot for my eyes. And she just keeps going.
She was excited. And she was just like, got his attention. She wasn't in the headspace. You're mesmerized by the scene, like what? And you're sharing one brain, you know? So,
yeah. So I couldn't
you're,
say anything.
you're the
either,
auditory
so
aside.
like,
You were like, I got this. I got this.
I didn't even find it funny yet. Like, I'm like, is this happening? And it's just washing over me. And she's still like, I would have stopped her if I had also just been like, but it's Constantine. Like,
I mean, he did say they were hot. So, I mean, that's a win for
I'm gonna
you.
go with that. I'm gonna go with it. Thank you. So then we ended the conversation, or so like then the next picture, he's like, "Oh, hello."
Exactly.
And then we ended the conversation. And we went our separate ways before security could be called on me.
He's like, that was great. And Crayleigh's like pushing out, like, as she sees the guys coming around the corner. Like, let's go. Let's move on.
and then we left, and Crayleigh's like, why did you keep showing him pictures after he said these are too hot for my eyes? I'm like, he said what? Because it was loud in there. I didn't hear him say that. I'm like, he said what? And I did what?
well,
And then you were
I
like,
think you were talking when he said it to you. Like, I think you were talking about how you have a friend who has a studio, and
Yeah, probably.
she was
you were
in the
probably
zone.
bragging on her photography. Like, I remember that you were talking when he said it, but like,
Oh my God.
She was in the zone. That's why. So she was too excited and was sharing. She didn't realize what was going on.
I am just an awkward turtle, and no matter what the situation is, I will make it awkward. That is my superpower.
My thing is, like, sometimes things people think are awkward, I'm just like, no, I'm cool. So then it becomes awkward to other people because I'm not, like, awkward about it. Or, like, I don't have a big deal about it. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
You know? And then they're like, doesn't that... I'm like, no, I didn't even think... What? Tyler, you know that was awkward. Was it? Is that how we interpret it? I don't know. It's cool, but whatever.
I mean, that's basically me too, and that's probably why I make things awkward. I feel like now is a good segue for Crayleigh for you to share how I met David.
oh, right.
Speaking of me making men uncomfortable. Oh, by the way, I should share that I've been happily married for 13 years. So I just apparently make men, I'm just a shameless flirt. I guess. I don't know.
I don't even know if shameless flirt is the right way. Like, you just show up and you're so charming that men are like, they're drawn in, and then they're like, oh no, I got drawn in too far. And then it's on them. They're like, how do I extricate myself so that I don't flirt with this married woman who's so charming? Like, that's the way I really observe that happening.
Are you just because you're nice and overly friendly, and then next thing you know, they're like, Tyler, you were flirting with her. Was it? I was just being nice. Tyler, you complimented her outfit. She had a nice outfit on. I mean, people like to feel good about
That's
stuff,
what I
right?
do. Yes. And I'm Crayleigh, you're very, very sweet to me. Thank you. You're a little too complimentary, but thanks. Okay, so anyway, so tell the story about me being awkward to your poor now husband.
Okay, well, to be fair, I completely enabled this. So maybe this is why I think you're not awkward and you're not the flirt. Maybe these are just the same justifications I make for myself.
Probably.
Because, like,
Well, and David wasn't actually uncomfortable. It's just funny if you tell someone and they're like, whoa, maybe I wouldn't be okay with that if it was me, but David was fine with it.
well, also, he's my husband now, but at the time we had only been dating for like 6 months. We had moved in together. Things were going very fast.
You were in the good part. You're like, yeah, it's a good part. He's meeting your darker half or your lighter half, depending on the day,
Right. I mean, I feel like we've been in like a 5-year-long good part now where I just do stuff like this to him all the time. Where she's like, hey, so I don't want to be awkward, which means Kelly's about to be awkward, right? in Messenger. She's
So
like, hey, so I don't want to be awkward.
That's the thing to notice when you meet Kelly.
Yes.
You hear that, run.
Yes.
Or embrace the action and get ready for a show.
Exactly.
You'll have a lot of fun if you can just push through the initial, like,
what is going on?
right. So, she's like, I don't want to be awkward, but David has the perfect look for Cyclops. And at first I'm like, does she really think it's awkward to suggest that my boyfriend and I do a couples cosplay? Because that's not awkward.
Oh, that's cool. That's
And
encouraging.
she's like, she's like, so I have this comic panel that has been one of my dreams to recreate. Can I just send it to you? So again, I'm still not knowing what the awkward part is here. And it's the scene where Emma Frost has been masquerading as almost Jean, wearing like the Dark Phoenix costume and having a mental psychic affair with Scott. And then, or Emma Frost. I said that right, not Jean.
Yeah.
And then Jean busts open this like imaginary brain door and is like, of course I would find you in my husband's mind, Emma. And I'm still like, okay, so what's awkward about this? Oh, he's shirtless. And so
we're fighting over him.
Right. I'm still looking at it, like wondering, like, can I ask David to do this or not? And she's just typing furiously. She's like, so I don't know if he would be comfortable or not. And I'm not trying to make him uncomfortable. So if you think it would make him uncomfortable, don't even ask him. But if you think he would be cool with it, because she had never met him, knows nothing about him except what I've told her. She's like, but if you think it would be cool, could you please ask him if we can get him to take his shirt off and fight over him in costume?
I mean, sounds to me like she was trying to show you that if he was worth keeping around, because if he didn't embrace the bond that you two have and your love for cosplay and characters, then he's not the man for you. And I'm going to take it that he obviously did, because here we are talking about it.
But literally my response to her was, I'm pretty sure I can make him do this. And like, I don't actually force him to do things he's uncomfortable with, but it's like, we'd been together for 6 months and I'm like, okay, this is the point at which I like, yeah, I'm going to figure out, like, is he cool with the fact that I have some very intense hobbies? Like, does he want to participate? I need to know.
It sounds like a great time. Like,
I was like, I think I can make him. Like, I think he can be convinced. And so that's awesome. How Kelly met my now husband. And she was like, hi, nice to meet you. Take your shirt off.
We're going to fight over you.
Yeah. Did you actually say it in those words, Kelly, or?
Well, actually, I did get to meet him the night before, so I at least got to have a conversation with him with the shirt on first.
Oh, yeah, that's what happened, is you were like, I'm glad we met last night, so that I wasn't just like, hi, nice to meet you, take your shirt off.
Those were pretty much my exact words, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and it doesn't help that our photographer was also like reveling in some of the awkwardness, because he's just like, you're such a beautiful man. I love it when I get to photograph men, because then I can open my portfolio up and put these beautiful men near the front and be like, I'm not a creepy guy who only takes pictures of beautiful women. Look at this beautiful man.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
That's the
Our
hardest
photographer
part.
really is not a creepy guy either. Like, he's amazing, but
no, he's really not. It's just that he was just being so complimentary of, my husband, who's not used to people complimenting his body.
He's like, oh, wait, I'm a beautiful man? What? This is the greatest day of my life. Can we do more of these shoots?
Right.
Can I get more people to talk about me and tell me I'm beautiful? Can we do this? That's awesome. That's got to be cool. I mean, it's one of those stories. Like, it's now something that you have to go back on and to share and to talk about and make awkward.
Every time we get drunk, we talk about it.
Now it's just a good time. So let me ask you this, because we could probably keep going forever, because you two are fun.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, please don't, because then we just make this part 1, and then we just wait a month and get back together and do part 2, 3, or a monthly series. Is there any characters that you want to cosplay that you've yet to get to do?
Oh, You said that we were trying to wrap up, and then you asked.
Just name
like
one.
That?
Just pick one. Each of you pick one.
Starfire and Blackfire.
Yes.
Okay, that would be awesome.
Yes.
Sailor would love to see that because she loves Starfire.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
Kelly,
one. I could see that.
Kelly, you pick one. I had to do the heavy lifting. You pick the bar up now.
Oh gosh. Well, my individual one is definitely Rogue, and then we're also working on some Sailor Scout. So that's in the works. But
Okay,
gosh,
that sounds cool.
Yeah, our to-do list is insane. Yeah, but Crayley's working on Sailor Venus, and I am working on Sailor Mars.
If you don't change your mind and do Sailor Moon after all, you waffler, you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I already ordered the crown and earrings for Sailor Mars. That's happening.
Okay, so you're committed now. Good, because like a month ago, you were like, "Should I do Sailor Moon instead?" And I was like, "I mean, you could, but you're so Sailor Mars."
So here are okay. So we're kind of wrapping up. Like I said, we could go on forever. I have to have some sort of form in my life, or this could just be a 3-hour podcast that like what happened.
Yeah, no, we will talk your ear off if you let us.
And that's fine. That's me. I'm a talkative person. You can't pick up on that. That's kind of why I do this. Are you two thinking of returning to Metropolis this year if it is happening?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that would be cool because we had actually planned to go last year. Because every year we've tried, my wife and I's either been work for me, or when she was in school, or just having a baby, whatever. It's always caused us to not be able to go. And then this year we were all set, and then the world happened.
Oh, that's
we both definitely have people who are supposed to go with us this upcoming year who've never been before. Because that's kind of our thing is we find people we really like and then we like very nicely bully them into joining us.
That's cool.
Join our cosplay cult.
That's cool.
It'll be fun. There's no Kool-Aid, we promise.
Well, that's how I got in is Mark and Ruby, the mutual friends we talked about, were just like, you would be a really awesome this or that character, but first I have to ease you in with a character I know you're going to like.
See, I would like to, I kind of want to start to develop a little bit more because we do little stuff my kids and I do. So that could be something I could do with them, but I would love to get into it a little bit more, but not, like I said, not by myself, trying to find people to do stuff with. That's the most important part. So.
I am your girl for that. I love group photo shoots and cosplays, so we'll coordinate for next year.
Yeah.
That's something else we have in common is we like to be like, I heard you had a group cosplay idea. I'll direct that. I'll come up with the time and place. I'll assign everybody, not assign, but I'll keep track of who's doing what costume.
Mm-hmm. I'll show up as Smallville Clark. I got you.
Nice.
I'll show up as Smallville Clark or a T-shirt Superman.
Perfect.
But oh man, you guys are fun. I mean, I use guys too much of a general term. I've noticed that about myself. I've taken out the gender part of it, just made a general term for groups of people.
All three of us are from the Midwest, and I know it happens everywhere. But I feel like it's been gender neutral in the Midwest for a long time.
It's interesting because things like that you don't think about. I have a podcast I gotta do tomorrow that one of my friends, they do a podcast and they're from Australia. And I'm going to be guesting on his podcast. And then I have a podcast I'm going to do on Monday with a guy I've never podcasted for, and he's from the UK. And it's always interesting when you do stuff and the little changes in, your dialogue. And you're like, oh yeah, that doesn't mean that there. Okay, cool.
I have fully adopted y'all.
Yeah, I don't say it, but I type it. I've realized I don't ever say it out loud, but I'll text it or type it.
I shouldn't say fully. Yep. I've definitely been adapting it for typing because it is great because it's gender neutral, and I'm working on adapting it for saying it out loud. I feel a little silly because I am not in any way, shape, or form Southern, but I'm appropriating it, damn it.
It's all good.
I mean, you can also use folks, though. That's plural and gender neutral.
True.
It doesn't roll off. It doesn't roll as well, though.
No,
It really
I like
doesn't.
y'all. I like y'all a lot. And so I'm taking it. I'm taking it, Southerners. I have a lot of Southern friends that I love, and Southerners, thank you for this word that I really do like.
Yeah, well, especially if you need to further pluralize it. Like, folkses doesn't sound right. And I'll never forget when my cousins from Texas made fun of me for saying you guys'.
That just sounds wrong. Not grammatically appropriate, but y'all's is. Or
Exactly.
y'all's is right. So, yep. This Midwestern, South Canadian, basically, chick is saying y'all.
It's just interesting, things you don't think about.
Right.
Now, is there anything that you ladies would like to promote? Projects you're doing, your social media drops. This is where you can just go ahead and just take over and tell the people where to find you.
Kelly, you do Drunk Comics first, and I'll lead us out with Patreon.
Okay, perfect. So, part of an extension of Phoenix Sisters is that we also have a YouTube channel, and the big thing we do on YouTube is Drunk Comics, which, if you've ever seen Drunk History, it's basically like that, but for comics. And if you haven't seen Drunk History, it's basically drunk people retelling their favorite comic story. And some episodes, as COVID allows, or basically as it's safe to, if we get people within their budget, some episodes we're starting to add in cosplayers that are acting out the retellings, which that piece is really fun. And I look forward to going back and adding in the acting out piece more once it's safe.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so if you want to see us at our most awkward, when we have no filter listening to us sober, you want to check out Drunk Comics. If you want to stay strictly cosplay, our Facebook page is still just Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, and we do put most of the content there. But if you want to see things a month in advance, or you want signed prints or perks or things like that, or you want to see any of our PG-13 content, like that Zatanna Boudoir shoot that Kelly mentioned, on Patreon, we're also called Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, and it starts at $1 a month. You see everything 30 days in advance and some exclusive content that will never go to Facebook. And we're really flexible with it. Like, if you're like, oh, I really want this perk that's $20 a month, but I can't do $20 a month. If you message us, we'll be like, well, just PayPal us $20 one time, and we hope you stay on.
That's
so
awesome.
Mostly, most of our Patreon family sort of is people who are like, I don't cosplay myself, but I really want to contribute. And that's really cool that we all get involved together. And it's a place for us to do that. It's not really a business for us, but we try to keep
it keeps us honest, because we have to make content every month. So we have to we have to do enough photo shoots to have a new one every month. So it keeps us creating, and we had to be really creative last year, which was kind of fun to have to try to figure out how to create when you can't really go out and go outside your bubble. So we had one photo shoot that was literally superheroes at home. And that was my favorite one of the year.
Yeah, it's superheroes in quarantine. And we just told a little photo story of, two superheroes trying to start out having a productive day. We're going to clean, do yoga, read. And by the end of it, we're just pounding a bottle of Svedka.
Sounds like you guys have a lot of fun and do fun, adventurous things, and find ways to take your love and your hobbies and, mature them and find different outlets for them without just being stagnant, And that's awesome. I definitely will be looking into that, the Drunk Comics. That sounds like it'd be fun to watch.
You also are welcome to come on as a guest if you ever would like.
Oh, please. I would very enjoy that.
All right, I'll bug you on Facebook Messenger about that to coordinate something after the convention planning is done.
Yes. And do you want to talk about that for a quick moment?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to did you stop recording?
No, I'm still recording. Go for it.
Oh, you mean plug the convention. Sorry. I'm a little slow right now.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I wasn't sure if this episode would air in time. Okay, so on the weekend of the 15th, there's going to be a virtual Super Friends Con. The event is on Facebook, and if you follow Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, we'll be reposting information about the event. So that's a good hub to find the event information. And basically, we have a boatload of guests. We have Shannon Farnan from this old Super Friends cartoon. She was the voice of Wonder Woman, is the one I'm most excited to talk to. But we have a whole bunch of guests that are just going to be really cool. And so it's going to be Zoom based, and basically you can log in and watch our panels, and we're going to talk to all our guests, and then we're going to have some panels about cosplay and some panels talking about comics and superheroes, and it's just going to be a nice little fun free weekend of entertainment for anyone who wants to join in.
And I will be part of that now, thanks to your lovely invite. I'm looking forward to being part of it and helping out, and
yes,
it's going to be a good time.
I am excited to have you aboard too. So thank you for joining in.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem. All right, ladies. Well, I appreciate you taking the time just to chat, and I really enjoyed it. I love when you just get people who enjoy talking, and I would rather go on and ramble about fun stuff, and we're just going to put a pin in it for now, because I would love to have you both on again later and just talk more about, kind of catch up and see how things have been, any more fun stories, whatever new feats you decide to take on, and new suits. And last question.
Yeah.
Here it is. Real quick for both of you, what is your favorite cosplay character or suit? Kelly, you go first.
The Black Canary is my favorite character to do, and I've done, I think my count recently was 16 versions of her, and my favorite version to wear is my Injustice 2 version, which I made that entire version from scratch over the course of like a week and a half, most of that was with materials I already had. It was kind of like a challenge for myself, and I just love how it turned out. It was a really fun project to make.
Awesome. Krayley, what about you?
Mine, again, earlier when we mentioned like love-hate with some of the costumes we make, is Emma Frost, which it's funny because Kelly didn't know that when she asked me to be Emma Frost in that photo shoot where we fight over Scott. Over Cyclops, for people who aren't like in X-Men, And
Cyclops is my favorite X-Man.
yeah,
Nice.
you have good taste, but
Yes.
it's so like most of
So
my
underrated.
other cosplays.
Yeah, he got crapped on in the movies, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, like most of my other cosplays are very smiley. Like Wonder Girl always has I do the Cassie version of Wonder Girl, and she always has this like playful smirk on. Or I've like wanted to do Starfire, who's like, I power myself with love,
Mm-hmm.
And then when I get into my Emma Frost, I'm just like, I am cold, I am powerful, I will mess you up. Like, it's just such a different headspace for me. And even though it is my most uncomfortable costume by far, I always am like so happy with trying to, like, any effort I make to pull off being like a cold, less is more, everything I say has gravity kind of character.
All right, I like it. Anybody check out their photos, their Instagram page? There's some great shots, great costumes. They have a lot of fun. And ladies, until next time, thank you.
Yeah, no,
Thank you for
for
having us.
having us. Yeah.
Sorry, Curly. Talking over you.
No, you're not. I don't know if you're capable. We're just saying the same thing anyway.
Same person.
Look up in the sky.
Look up in the sky.
Look in the sky.